Welcome back, everybody. Today I am going to talk about the creation of groups and how we can actually assign users to those groups. In order for us to do this, we will need to use the but group add command, which is fairly similar or pretty much the same as user add command. So all you need to type in instead of user add is group add help, and you'll get a fairly brief set of options, which are all pretty much not really that important at all. Somebody might say, oh well, but you have a group password that is here, isn't that important, or at least of some importance? Well, no, not really, because it is no longer really used on any of the newer systems. Anyway, one thing that might be of interest to you is actually this file here, which is the configuration file for the defaults. If we go ahead and take a look at that file, let's see, login defs. Here you can see all the parameters that are specified that are to be created or to be set, would be a more precise way to say it, during the default user creation, or group creation. So you have create home. Would you like the home directory to be created? Yes. So you just type, if you don't want that to happen, you would just type in here no, and by default no home directories would be created. Down here you have an encryption method specified to encrypt the passwords. Up here you have the GID pool of basically number of IDs. It goes from 1,000 to 60,000. You can narrow this pool down or make it very specific if you want your groups to have specific GIDs. Up above, for user add, again, you have the same option here, and there are, password minimal length. This is very nice. Expiration dates, etc., that you can actually set, combine, and have that by default. So you can define your policies here should you choose to do so. All you need to do in this file is basically either change these numbers or change the right side of this configuration, such as, for example, instead of yes, you would type in no, or instead of this path, you could type in another path. This one is commented out. I'm just citing this as an example. You shouldn't really mess around with this one input. Oops. The screen ran a bit away from me. Where was it? Yep, you shouldn't really mess around with this one in particular, not for the time being anyway, but you can change a lot of these other values here if you wish to do so. I'm going to give you a bit of nausea now because I spanned the screen all the way down. Doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and clear it. So in order to create groups, we would need to type in group add. And how shall we name these groups? There are ways of naming them, of course. Usual way would be like this. So marketing and group add. What shall the second group be? Sales. And group add. What shall the third one be? The third one can be, I don't know, let's not create a third one because I already have a considerable amount of groups for testing purposes here, and my imagination has unfortunately ran out of meaningful names. If you want to see the list of all groups, you can go ahead and type in cat. So they are located in this file, etc. group, press enter, and there you go. So I have already, I have already assigned Adam to have its secondary group as G1. So it already exists here. A key note here to mention is that you will only be able to see secondary groups for users. So this is the username, and then you can have all the users here which are assigned to this secondary group. If you want to see the primary group of a particular user, you can do it in the etc passw file. So cat etc passw d. This is too much. Let's go ahead and clear the screen. Grep Adam x1003. Will this work? Yep, it will. So we have Adam, who is a group of 1006. You don't know which group that is. You just know it's GID, and it's not very useful. I suppose you can do this like cat etc group and then grep 1006, and you will see that that's a group sheep. And there you go. That is the group sheep. Adam now belongs to the group sheep. That is its primary group. I'm sure that he's not very grateful for this. I have done some previous testing prior to this tutorial. Adam's original group was 1003, if I'm not mistaken. But during the process of my testing, I have assigned him to group 1006. Do not worry, I will show you how to do this in a moment. It's not that big of a deal. But this way of figuring out who belongs, who is in which group or something of a kind is not very effective, right? I mean, you have to go through two separate files, and in one file you have the primary group, in another file you have the secondary groups, and then you have the list of users belonging to that secondary group. Not a very efficient thing. What you want to do is clear the screen first, type in ID Adam, and here you have a clear overview of everything. You can see that the user ID is 1003. The primary group is 1006 sheep. The secondary groups are, well, all of the groups are actually sheep and G1. G1 being the secondary group to which I have assigned it. Do not let this G1 confuse you. That is just a name that I have assigned him during my test runs. That's just a group name, quite literally. It could have been, I could have written here marketing or accounting or something of a kind. Now, let us go ahead and see how we can actually modify the user parameters so that the user belongs to a group. I mean, obviously, we can edit the files, like etc passwd. We can change it from 1006 to 1003, just edit it directly there, or in the groups file, we can just add the names after the last colon. But that is not something that we want to do. First of all, because I mean, you have to go to the file, and then you have to edit the file, save it, look for the username within the file or something like that. Those files are generally used as reference points, and that is where you would go if there is something wrong with the user to check if the configuration is right, as I've stated before. If you want to change the user parameters from like this from pretty much anywhere in your system, you would just type in user mod help. User mod is fairly similar, and it has pretty much the same arguments as user add. It's pretty much the same. What is interesting here, some of the interesting options here are these three for this particular tutorial, where we will actually be able to add Adam to other groups, or clear it all together, or clear the groups altogether and then add a new set of groups there. Down below, there's also another option which you can change, which is the default shell of the user. There are several shells for Unix systems. For example, in Windows systems, you have the CMD, and CMD functions in one way, and it has one syntax attached to it, and that is it. And on Linux, you can actually choose which shell do you want. For example, the one that we're using now is a Bourne shell. Another one that is quite popular is basically C shell. That is, the difference between C shell and Bourne shell is syntax, basically. So you have one syntax which is used in the Bourne shell, which is bash syntax, and in C shell you have a C programming language syntax. So the commands would be typed in a bit of a different, the regular expressions would be typed in a bit of a different manner. You would have some options would be available there and wouldn't be available here, but you can pretty much do the same things with both of them. They're all very good and very useful. Anyway, let's go ahead and type in user mod. Oh, right, before we begin, there is one more thing that I would like to mention here. This adds a primary group to the user, or changes the primary group of the user. This adds a new set of groups, new secondary group that is, regardless of what already exists, and it will override anything. So whatever exists will be overwritten by this command. However, if you add a in front of the capital G, you will only append and add one more group to the existing list, as opposed to deleting the whole list. Let me explain further what I mean by this. Let's say that one user belongs to 10 groups, and you want to add an 11th group. If you add it with a -g argument, that means that only that group will indeed be added, but all the other ones will be deleted. If you put a in front of the g, then you will be able to actually just add the 11th group without deleting the other 10 groups. Anyway, let's go ahead and type in user mod the -a. Actually, let's just do g because we want to add Adam to a we want to lowercase g, we want to change Adam's primary group. So Adam's primary group will now become meat. I haven't showed you how to create meat, but I have showed you how to create marketing and sales. Same way, user group add space meat. I've created this one previously. So now we shall add Adam. We shall promote Adam from group sheep into group meat. Not sure if that's a promotion or not, but oh well. This is not going to work because I need to type in the username. And there you go. So if I type in ID Adam now, you will see that the primary group of Adam is now meat. Sheep does not exist here. And now we shall add a secondary group to Adam, which will override G1, because groups is simply a list of all the groups to which Adam belongs to, but this being the primary group and this being the secondary group, you know that it's a primary group because it says here GID. Now we shall add Adam to a secondary group as well, assign Adam a secondary group. So user mod, and we will override the current one by typing in this. So sheep Adam. ID Adam. Now you can see that the primary group of Adam is meat, secondary group of Adam is sheep. And now we can append, let's go ahead and do this. Now we can append the secondary groups. We can add something meaningful this time, like marketing. And we can now do ID Adam. Excellent. Now you can see all the groups to which Adam belongs, and you have, it says sheep, and then it says marketing. I know that these don't really mix very well, meat, sheep, marketing. We can also add like this, sales, another group which I've created. So it says groups, meat, sheep, marketing, sales. These things, they don't really, I'm not sure how well they combine. I suppose you can combine them in one way or another. They all, meat and sheep can go into marketing and then somebody can sell it or something of a kind. Doesn't really matter. I just wanted to show you how you can create groups and assign a user to it. Now another feature of user mod is that you can actually change the shell. So bin tcsh Adam, and if I go ahead and do cat etc pass wd, pass wd grep Adam, you can see that there is a difference. Now all the other users have been bash, and I have DCSH. So born is an acronym. It stands like bash born again something, born again bash, something like that. It doesn't really make much difference, but that's all that there is to it. So it says now Adam will be using a very much different shell for its working days and its work, so on and so forth. Anyway, I hope that I have showed you how you can actually create groups, how you can add them. If you would like to remove a group, it's not a big deal. You can just type in user, what do we need? Group delete, and then which group would you like to delete? Let's go ahead and delete marketing, because you know who needs marketing. And then if I do ID Adam, you can see it doesn't actually exist. It's removed from here. And if I go ahead and cat etc group, it's gone. It shouldn't be here. Let's see, Adam, meat, sheep, glass, CD, G123 sales. Nope, it is no longer here. So these are all the users that belong to the group sheep, I can also add random guy, which is my standard user, to the group sheep as well by typing in user mod ag sheep random guy. Sorry, not user mod. And if I go ahead and cat the group, now you can see that both of these users actually belong to this group. You can also append this file manually, so vim etc group. This applies to pretty much all the other files as well, like etc password and etc passwd and etc shadow, etc group. So I am in vim now. Let's just scroll down to where I need to be. Actually, let's just, oops, this is not what I want. Let's delete it, escape. I need this, I need sheep, and there you go. Insert. I can remove random guy from this group. So like this, Adam, right quit. And if I do ID random guy, you will see that random guy is no longer a part of that particular group. Let me just prove it one more time because I didn't actually show it to you previously. I add it like this. I do ID random guy. You can see he's now a member of sheep. And if I do vim etc group, oops, there we go. Give me insert. If I delete him here, right quit, ID random guy, you'll see he will no longer be a member of that group. Same would apply if I was to add him manually to that group or any other user. I can change things manually in those files, but there really isn't a need for it, as you do have user mode, user add, group add, and so on. Not really that big of a deal. You can just use these commands in order to edit it. If you forget your syntax or if you can't remember it at a time, there's always the help, the man pages. There's just one more brief thing that I would like to show you, and that is how to delete a user. It's fairly simple. You just type in user del and then type in the user. Well, before we type in the user, let's take a look at the help bar. It's fairly simple. So user del, and what you want to do is pass in the argument R, remove home directory and mail spool so that the home directory is removed as well. You don't want it to remain behind if you're deleting the user altogether. And now we shall type in Adam, who has been a member of sheep and meat and marketing and sales, and Adam has followed us along through, but now we are rootless and we are going to delete Adam. Why we're going to do that? Well, for the sake of demonstration. Anyway, go ahead and press enter, and user Adam is currently used by process 4687. Okay, let's do this. Let us force it. User del, user Adam is currently used by process. Group Adam not removed because it is not a primary group of user Adam. Okay, so group del Adam, goodbye. Adam is no longer in existence. We can verify this by typing ID Adam, ID Adam, no such user. We have logged into Adam before, or I have logged in here before with Adam, and it has just stayed up and running. That's why there is a user Adam that was used by process 4687, but that doesn't really matter. We could have also typed in kill for 687. That's not a wise thing to do, to kill it before we actually know what it is. We can do ps grep 4687, so 4687, and there we go. So we now know what is this process. We can read it here and then decide whether we wish to kill it or not, or we can use the force command and remove it. Let's just go ahead and visit the home directory, press enter, ls. You can see that Adam is no longer, that the folder Adam is no longer here. Anyway, I bid you all farewell and wish you a ton load of luck.